First of all, welcome everyone. Good morning. And I am very excited to be able to come here to continue what I pledged to the Democratic nominee both the night that he won and the morning after, that as long as I am mayor of the District of Columbia, which will be through January 2nd of 2011, and then after that as a private citizen, he will be able to enjoy my full support, not only so that he is individually successful as the city's sixth mayor, but most importantly, that he is able to take this city forward to new heights and make it the best city in the entire world for its residents. I think today's announcement is in concert with all of that. The Democratic nominee has asked me to make a very important hiring announcement, and that is that effective by the end of this month, Henderson, who has served heretofore as the Deputy Chancellor for the District of Columbia Public Schools, will then transition into the interim Chancellor of the District of Columbia Public School System. I want to say two things. One, I have had the opportunity to work with her. I have as much confidence in Kaya's ability to run this school system as anyone who's ever known her. She has had roles in D.C. as Executive Director of Teach for America, worked with DCPS, both at Teach for America and the New Teacher Project, and has been with the school system since 2007 when she started as the Deputy Chancellor. My second role here today is to introduce Chancellor Rhee. It would have been just about 3.5 years ago when, with the support of the council, including and led by the Democratic nominee, we, for the first time, took over control of the schools under the position of mayor of the District of Columbia. At that time, I had only one requirement for the first Chancellor of the District of Columbia, and that is we would hire the best. When I interviewed Michelle Rhee, I couldn't have been more impressed, and I say that going into June 12, 2007, my expectations for how she would do couldn't have been higher. As I come back 3.5 years later, I say without any reservation, she has exceeded all of my expectations. It's not just the results that all of you know so well. The test scores are going up, the graduation rates, the dropout rates going down, the AP classes improving. The collective bargaining agreement that is now the model of the country, enrollment increases, and the race for the top success. But it's the excitement that she and her team have brought to the school system. The tough decision-making, what residents believe is a breath of fresh air, the willingness to do what is right, even if it has political consequences. All across the country now, because of Chancellor Rhee and her team, from the White House to documentaries, people are touting D.C. as a model for how to attack bureaucracy and get results in an urban school system. And here in D.C., thousands of residents believe, like I do, that the future of our school system has never been brighter. And the one person to thank, amongst all others, is the person who 3.5 years ago took on the thankless job of Chancellor of the District of Columbia Public Schools. Please help me welcome to the microphone Chancellor Michelle Rhee.
Good morning. Today, Chairman Gray and I have reached the mutual decision that I will leave my post as the Chancellor of the Washington, D.C. public school system. This was not a decision that we made lightly, but it is one that I believe is absolutely essential to allow Chairman Gray to pursue our shared goal of unifying the city behind the school reform efforts that are making such a large difference in the lives of the children across the city. In short, we have agreed together that the best way to keep the reforms going is for this reformer to step aside. Chairman Gray has made his commitment to continuing the progress and the reforms clear to me and to my team of dedicated DCPS staff who have done so much to turn around our schools. His decision to make my Deputy Chancellor, Kaya Henderson, the interim chancellor of DCPS, should put any fears aside of what reform will look like under a Gray administration. The answer to that question is that reforms will continue. With Kaya Henderson at the helm and the DCPS management team in place, everything the city needs to be able to continue the reforms will be in place. I have known and worked with Kaya Henderson for the better part of my professional career, and I can tell you that she is an absolutely unbelievable candidate, and I have the utmost of confidence in her ability to lead this effort moving forward. I also have a high degree of confidence in my team. They are the most talented and dedicated team of any school district in the nation, and they will continue to focus on creating a world-class educational system for our children. I've put my blood, sweat, and tears into the children of the District of Columbia for the last 3.5 years, and I have completely enjoyed every minute of it. I'm honored and humbled to have had the opportunity to serve the very deserving young people of this city. The thought of not being in this role anymore is heartbreaking, to put it mildly. But I do know that it is the right thing for the school system and the right thing, most importantly, for the children of DC. As I told Chairman Gray, he should be able to start his term as mayor with the same privilege that I have enjoyed for the last 3.5 years, which is the ability to choose your own team and have full faith and confidence in the work that you're going to do together. The chairman ran a great campaign. He will lead a great city, and he deserves the opportunity to work towards his goal of one city with a team that shares his vision, can keep the progress going, and bridge the divide. I want to thank the chairman, as this was a difficult decision for both of us. In the course of our discussions, we found much common ground in our commitment to wanting to do what is right for the children of DC. And I am proud to give him the best team of people to help him begin his mission, and I'm confident in the continued success of the reforms under Chairman Gray. I also want to thank the parents, the teachers, and the community of DCPS. You have emailed me, you've called me, you've come to my coffees, my office hours, and you've never been shy about telling me when you disagreed with me. And because of you, we are bringing change into every corner of this city. And finally, to the students, you are the greatest. I have the utmost of confidence in the young people of this city to do great things, and they have not disappointed. Finally, I want to thank Mayor Fenty for the support and friendship that he has provided to me over the last 3.5 years. His commitment has been steadfast, and his impatience for improvements to give every child in this city a world-class education at times even surpassed mine. The children who attend public school in our city are the true beneficiaries of his character and his leadership. So thank you, Mayor Fenty, to Interim Chancellor Kaya Henderson, and finally, thank you to the next speaker, Chairman Vincent Gray.
Thank you very much, Chancellor. Good morning, everybody. Let me start by thanking Mayor Fenty for his very kind words this morning, for his outstanding service to the District of Columbia. And among the many things that we share is the fact that we both are native Washingtonians and deeply love the District of Columbia.
Agreed.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. You're doing great.
I also want to begin by extending my most heartfelt thanks to Chancellor Rhee for her service to the children of the District of Columbia. The job of Chancellor, as we well know, is not an easy one. But Chancellor, you tackled it head on, making tough decisions as you went along. Your efforts have placed school reform at the top of the public agenda, not just here in D.C., but as we all know, across the nation. This was not an easy decision for either of us, but as the Chancellor said in her remarks, she and I together both believe this is the right decision, the right one for DCPS and our students at this time. I think this decision is a testament to our Chancellor's commitment to school reform, and on behalf of the entire DCPS community, Chancellor, I want to thank you. Now is the time for us to look forward. As I've said many times before, school reform will move forward in the Gray administration. We cannot and will not revert to the days of incrementalism in our schools. Our schools must continue to operate under the leadership of a strong, empowered chancellor who will move school reform forward, take it to the next level, and work with the community so that all our stakeholders are invested in the process. Given the unique situation we're in, I also want to make sure that we minimize any disruption for our children in the midst of the school year, and that we provide them with the continuity they need and deserve. For those reasons, I asked Mayor Fenty to appoint Deputy Chancellor Kaya Henderson as the interim chancellor of the D.C. Public School System, effective at the end of this month, and I want to again thank the mayor for working so closely with me to be able to effectuate that. Kaya Henderson is an outstanding public servant. She demonstrated her commitment to school reform even before joining DCPS, and as you've heard, she was an officer with the New Teacher Project and Teach for America in the District of Columbia. As Deputy Chancellor, she has proven herself to be an able leader, focusing on recruitment and hiring, managing human resources, and community relations. I know she shares my commitment to moving the ball forward on school reform, as well as reaching out and forging a real partnership with the community. As we begin to write the next chapter of school reform in the District of Columbia, I look forward to working with Interim Chancellor Kaya Henderson every step of the way. And while, as I've said before, I have no intention of micromanaging DCPS, I have asked Kaya to keep the DCPS senior leadership team in place as it is now. I believe that in keeping the senior team, we can provide the stability and continuity that our children need and deserve at this critical time. I've also asked Kaya to join me at my upcoming town hall meetings so the district residents have a chance to get to know her and to hear how she'll keep school reform moving ahead in the District of Columbia. This is an exciting and challenging time for school reform, and I again want to thank Mayor Fenty for making the appointment of Kaya Henderson, and to Kaya Henderson for agreeing to serve as our interim chancellor. So please join me now in welcoming the interim chancellor of the District of Columbia Public Schools, Kaya Henderson.
Good morning. To the mayor, Mayor Fenty, I just want to say thank you so much for your tremendous support over the last 3.5 years. To Chairman Gray, thank you so much for having the confidence in me to appoint me to this role. And of course, to Michelle Rhee, my friend, my mentor, my partner, thank you so much for the opportunity. I've been here in DC and working with DC Public Schools for the last 13 years, and never in my wildest dreams did I imagine that we could reach such heights as a district. I'm excited about where we are, and I'm thrilled that the management team has agreed to stay on to continue this work. I look forward to continuing the progress and continuing to serve the families and students of the District of Columbia. Thank you.
No questions? Okay, thanks.
Well, so this is a press conference actually about the next step for DC. I am going to take a little time off and figure out what's next. Definitely be traveling a little bit to Sacramento. But my goal is to continue to be able to serve the children of this nation. I think that one of the things I've learned over the last 3.5 years is that there is a tremendous amount of work to be done across the nation. Lots of communities that want to push these reforms forward. And so I look forward to serving America's children in my next role as well.
Mayor Fenty,
I'll defer. Someone has a question for the chairman. I'll defer. I'll come
Mark.
next.
Mark, and then Tom Sherwood. In what?
Mayor Fenty, this is a campaign announcement, and Ms. Gray has that prerogative to do this. And I love the Mayflower Hotel, they have great events here. But why is this event taking place here rather than in the city building where you are still the mayor till January 6th?
Actually, logistically, it worked out extremely well for me. I had a meeting right across the street that I left 5 minutes ago in order to be able to get over here. So, you know, it sounds fairly simplistic to say that it was a logistical question, but Mark, that's it more than anything else.
Well, I was really addressing my question, Mayor, not facetiously.
Yeah.
You are still the mayor
Sure.
for January 2nd. This is your obligation and responsibility, and it's, I'm sorry, it's a home rule question.
Yeah.
Why isn't this done in the city?
Well, let me just tell my successor that the media is not always going to agree with where you have where you have your press conferences, and this may be the first example. But I certainly can't say enough about what I think the substance of the announcements are, and that is the school reform is continuing in D.C. under the next mayor, Vincent Gray.
I think Mr. Sherwood was next.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
You're keeping Henderson, and you're keeping the senior staff, and you're keeping essentially the policies in place. Why not keep Rhee?
Well, again, let me underscore, Tom, and we both said this, that this was a mutual decision. You know, we both talked about the fact that we were concerned that this was a continuing discussion. We reached this decision together, and that's the essence of it. There's nothing more than there is no other story associated with it. I don't think it was either. Rhee and I have worked together over the last 3.5 years. We had a lengthy meeting just a couple of weeks ago. We've had protracted discussions about education policy and practice in the District of Columbia. So I don't even think that's an appropriate question. There's not a rejection on the part of either one of us. Yes, sir.
I'm Barry Wood, a freelance journalist and a substitute teacher in the DC system. I'd like to ask Ms. Henderson and Ms. Rhee, will the impact evaluation system continue?
So one of the great things about the transition as we have planned it is that all of the reforms can continue as planned. Normally when you see a schools chief leave, you see a significant transition because Deputy Chancellor Henderson is the one who will be taking the reins. Because the entire management team will stay in place, this will be an absolutely seamless transition. So all of the plans that we have crafted for the rest of this year will be able to be implemented with fidelity, and I have a tremendous amount of faith that Kaya will be able to lead that effort. So, as all of you know, one of the major reform strategies that we have prioritized is around human capital. So making sure that our groundbreaking teachers union contract is implemented with fidelity, that IMPACT, which is our new teacher evaluation model, continues to be implemented aggressively. Our special education reforms, especially those that call for bringing back children from non-public placements, because we spend about $300 million a year right now on tuition for those kids. That money needs to be invested in the system to create more capacity. And building up the great programs that we have at schools is incredibly important as well. We have a number of different initiatives going on, from our Catalyst School initiative to our partnership schools and school turnaround efforts. All of those things are very clearly outlined in our performance plan for the mayor, and I have no doubt that Ms. Henderson will be able to implement all of those things with fidelity and aggressively.
Last question. Last question. Well, I think there was a contract that was entered into with the chancellor at the very beginning of her tenure, and whatever provisions there are in the contract, of course, they will be observed. Thank you all. Thank you very much.